Hello class, today we're going to talk about dividing polynomials. Now, I created a lesson for us to learn on dividing polynomials, but I thought it was a little challenging, so I thought I would push that off until tomorrow and kind of get some practice with easier polynomials when dividing. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So if you hear me say a lot of the same stuff in tomorrow's lesson, that's why, okay? So we will divide polynomials using the box method. So the box method is just a way to keep your work nice and pretty. We do so by drawing a box, and yeah. So let's take a look at this example here. We have x squared plus 7x plus 12 divided by x plus 4. Now, you always want two rows. I guess I should write, this is important stuff. You always want two rows, and you also and you want in the columns you want equal to the highest power. In columns equal to the highest power. So in this case it's 2. So I always want two rows. So rows are up and down, or sorry, left and right. Right. So this is row 1. This is I didn't mean to do that. This is row 1. This is row 2. This is column 1. This is column 2. So I always want two rows, but because it's a square, I want two columns. So it's a 2 by 2. So here's what you do. The first thing that we want to do is whatever we're dividing by, we want to put it on the left here. So x and 4. Now the way that this is going to work out, or the way it kind of works, is kind of like a multiplication table. Let's recall what a multiplication table looks like. So we have numbers on the outside, right? And they're kind of like coordinates. Like 1 times 1 is, well, let me just fill this in real quickly. So say if I want to know what's 2 times 3, well, I would just use the coordinates, and it's 6, right? So the numbers on the outside, where they meet, it's the multiplication of the 2, and that's how this box is going to work. So think about how multiplication works. We have something times something equals something else, and if we're dividing, it's just going to be the opposite. So our answer is going to be up here, okay? So first what you want to do, like I said, is you want to put whatever you're dividing by here on the left, and then whatever the first term is, in this case x squared, you want to put in the top left box. Okay? So because I know this works like multiplication, I can answer this question next, or I can answer this section up here, because I know x times something is going to give me x squared. Well, x times what gives me x squared? And that's just going to be x. And then I can answer this one now because it works like a multiplication table. So 4 times x goes right here. That's 4x. Now what we want to do is we want to go diagonally. Okay? So, and when we go diagonally, we add. Now here's the thing. We're now at our x term, and so we're concerned with our x term. So this is what I want to ask myself. 4x plus some number of x gives me 7x's. So again, 4x plus some number of x's gives me 7x. In that case, it's 3x. Because isn't it true? 4x plus 3x gives me 7x. So 3x is going to go right here. So if you'll notice, diagonally, they add. They want to add to this. And then finally, we can answer this up here. X times something is going to give me 3x. So that's going to be 3. Then I can answer this down here. 3 times 4 goes down here. That's 12. So our answer here, what is this divided by this? It is actually this value up here. It's the x plus 3. So that's our answer, x plus 3. And if you were to multiply x plus 3 times x plus 4, you would get this thing back again. Okay, and if you want to, you can try it out. Okay, so what happens if we get a remainder? So let's recall in division, sometimes, well, actually more often than not, we'll have some sort of remainder. It won't be a perfectly even number. So let's just recall what that looks like, just numerically. So let's take this 2 divided by 19, or 19 divided by 2, and we're going to, let's see. Well, 2 goes into 19 how many times? We had to think, okay, that's 9 times. So now we multiply. 2 times 9 is 18. Subtract, that's 1. Now, if you recall, whatever we get as a remainder, we put over what we originally divided by. So this is 9.5. Okay? Likewise, I'm going to change this to 26 here. Likewise, if we have 26 divided by 3, let's see. So 23 goes into 26 8 times. So 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract, we have 2. So our remainder is 2, but it's in terms of thirds. So it's going to be 8 and 2 thirds. So what happens if we get a remainder? Well, we put whatever a remainder is over or on top of what we originally divided by. So we're going to use that logic for what we're going to be doing with dividing polynomials when we get remainders. So let's take a look at this top one together. Again, first thing that we want to do is whatever we're dividing by, put it here on the left. So x and 2. And then whatever the first term is, we're going to put in the top left box, so x squared. And now we can start filling this out. So x times something is going to give me x squared. Well, that something is x, because x times x gives me x squared. And then now I can fill this out. 2 times x should go right here, because I know this table works like a multiplication table. And then once we filled out the first column, we want to go diagonally. And remember, diagonally we add. So I'm asking myself here, well, I have my x's, so I'm looking at my x term. So I think 2x plus some number of x's gives me 4x. Well, I know that 2 plus 2 is 4, so this is going to be 2x. And just a note, make sure that your diagonal boxes have the same variable. In this case, since this is an x, this is an x. If it were an x squared, make sure that this is an x squared, and so on. Okay? Because remember, we can only add like terms. So now we can answer this part up here. X times something gives me 2x. Well, that something is 2. And then I can finally answer this down here. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, notice something here. On our last example, on the bottom left box, we got 12. And that equaled what we have here. That meant that there was no remainder, that we were all good to go. However, because this number doesn't match our constant here, there is going to be a remainder. And how do we find that remainder? Well, we're going to go diagonally yet again. And we want to think, okay, 4 plus what gives me 8? Just like what we did with these two x's. So 4 plus what gives me 8? Well, that's going to be 4. So my remainder is 4, which means my answer is in this section right here. So my answer is going to be x plus 2 plus 4. But remember, we know that the remainder, we write the remainder on top of what we divided by. So what we divided by here was x plus 2. So 4 is going to go on top of x plus 2. And that's that. Okay, let's take a look at another example. We're going to do 2 more examples together. Okay, so again, what we're dividing by, we put here on the left, so x and negative 1. And our first term goes in the top left box, that's 2x squared. Okay, so now I can answer this up here, because I know that x times something is going to give me 2x squared, and that's going to be, in this case, 2x. Then now I can answer this bottom left one. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. and then now I'm going diagonally. And remember, when we go diagonally, we add. So I know that negative 2x plus some amount of x's is going to give me 8x. So let's see here. Negative 2x plus, what would it be, 10x gives me 8x. And if you are never sure, you can always think about it after the fact. 10x minus 2x gives me 8x, so that's good. And then now I can answer this up here. X times something gives me 10x. Well, that's 10. And then multiply these two. Negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. And then we check, does it match? Yes, it does, so our answer is just this. Our answer is going to be 2x plus 10. Also note, I also wanted to point this out, but I forgot. There's a negative here, right? So I put a negative here. Make sure if there's a subtraction, you label it with subtraction, okay? Or else you're going to get all wonky answers. Okay, let's do one more example. So now we have 6x squared plus 11x minus 4 divided by 2x plus 3. And again, we want to put our what we're dividing by here. So this is 2x and this is 3. And our first term here, 6x squared, goes right in the top left box. And now we can start filling this out. So I know that 2x times something gives me 6x squared. Well, that something is going to be 3x. Then I multiply this down here. 3x times 3 is 9x. And then I can go diagonally. 9x plus some amount of x's will give me 11x's. Well, what is that? That's going to be 2x. And then 2x times something gives me 2x, so that something is 1. And then I can multiply these two together. 3 times 1 is 3. And then I check, well, does this match this? No, it doesn't. So I need to go diagonally once more, which means I'm going to have a remainder here. And 3 plus what gives me negative 4? Well, in this case, it's going to be minus 7. So my answer is going to be 3x plus 1 minus 7 over what we divided by, 2x plus 3. And that's it. That's polynomial long, or not polynomial long division. That's polynomial division by using the box method. So that's all I have for y'all. I think you should be able to do the worksheet, and have a good day. Bye.